Hey guys, it's been a really long time, I know. I've been meaning to make a video for a while, but things have just kind of gotten away from me with the pandemic and everything, so yeah. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been almost a year since, we've been in lockdown mode here in California, and it's been almost a year since I made my last video. So I wanted to give you an update on what's been going on since then, what life after law school has been like for me personally, and what those steps have looked like. So last time we talked, graduation had just been moved to a virtual format. So that did happen in June of 2020. And then right after graduation, things just kind of slid directly into studying for the bar, which is pretty normal, although the pandemic kind of added to the stress and uncertainty that normally accompanies the bar, because in 2020, the California bar was postponed 2 times. And that made planning and studying pretty difficult because we were never sure whether or not it would be pushed back again. And the thing with studying for the bar is that because there is just so much information to absorb and you have to be focused on studying for such an intense period of time, the recommendation is normally, not to study for too long or else you risk burning yourself out. So in the end, I ended up studying for the bar for about 3 months, which is about a month to 2 weeks longer than Stanford students normally get because we're on the quarter system, so we graduate later. I did take the month of January off from studying, basically. I don't recommend taking off a period in the middle of your study process because you lose a lot of information and momentum that way, but due to the delays and the timing, that's just kind of what ended up happening. I only have the one bar exam experience. I'm not an expert on the study process at all, but for those of you who are wondering what it's like, I did the Barbary course, which is very comprehensive. Some say a little too comprehensive. And I thought it was a good experience. I have no point of comparison again, so who knows? And I was lucky enough that the firm that's currently employing me paid for the bar prep course. So the cost of it wasn't really an issue going in. I think during the months that I was studying the hardest, I would try to do a sustained 3 to 4 hours of really concentrated studying. That kind of depends on what the course had laid out for me, because the Barbary course sets out a schedule depending on where the test date is of recommended studying per day, including subjects. It was a slog, but the studying itself wasn't so bad. It was more that this sense of, I've been in school for so long, I need to just sort of push myself across that last finish line. That part did feel a bit tiring. And so, yeah, I did the Barbary course. And then toward the end of my study period, maybe in the last 3 weeks before the exam, which was in October, I used a program called Adaptabar, which I wish I had used earlier because it's really good. It's an additional supplement which has, thousands of multiple choice questions for you to practice on, and they give you a really detailed breakdown of your analytics, what subjects you need to work on, what subjects you're relatively strong in, that kind of thing. Again, this is not obviously not sponsored by either of these 2 programs. I'm just mentioning what I used. Yeah, so I took the bar in early October, then started work at my law firm at the end of October, and heard back my bar results in January, which is normal. There's a period of delay because they need to grade. The delay was slightly longer for us 2020 fall exam takers because this was the first year, obviously, where the exam was virtual. So while I was taking the exam, I had my camera on and was recording myself, and they needed to review the footage or something. So it took longer. Found out I passed in January. Very excited and relieved to hear that, because California does have, I think, the hardest bar exam in the country with the lowest pass rate. So that's, it was a good feeling. As I mentioned, I started working in October, late October. My time at the firm is a little bit limited in an unusual way because I am leaving to start my clerkship in August of this year. So right from the start, I knew that I had less than a year to spend at the firm. It's been good so far. It's, occasionally very long hours and sometimes not very long hours. It's pretty up and down depending on how assignments come in and, how busy cases are and whether I have busy cases overlapping in time with other busy cases. That's kind of where it creates those peaks and valleys of work. But I've been on a good spread of cases. Obviously, I can't talk about the details or anything like that. To give a very general overview, in case some of you are wondering what working in big law is like, so far my responsibilities have been primarily legal research. So the way that comes into play is a partner on the case or maybe a senior associate will say, we need to make this kind of argument in a brief or in some document or whatever, and we need to find support for it. So please find cases that discuss this issue that we can point to and say, hey, this case was decided X way, so our case should also be decided X way, or vice versa, whatever. So that involves going into a legal database and, searching and reading cases from the jurisdiction. A portion of my work has also been doing document review. So that is, a really voluminous and somewhat tedious part of the litigation process where each party is producing documents to the other side that can be used as evidence, and it's each side's job to comb through those documents to see if there's anything relevant that can be used or not. That's been some of what I'm doing, and I think that just makes up part of every young associate's practice. I've also done a number of pro bono matters, which I've been really happy about. There's been some drafting of documents, so maybe sections of briefs and drafting of memos, and also transcribing witness interviews and kind of working to summarize the salient parts of those interviews. So yeah, it's kind of a mix of things. I still feel that it's very early in the process of kind of learning what the job entails. I have now been at the firm for, I guess this is my 6th month, something like that. So it's getting to a point where I'm feeling a bit more comfortable with the processes, with, obviously what I'm doing right now, and kind of looking ahead what I would be doing as a 2nd, 3rd, 4th year associate. And one thing is, I have been working from home this entire time. So it's kind of weird because my bed is literally right there, and I just kind of roll out of bed and sit down at this desk for, anywhere from 5 to 12 hours a day. I communicate with my coworkers through email, and I'm really, really grateful that I had a summer there in person to kind of meet them all and get a sense of how the office runs and flows in person, because I think it would be really weird to have started completely virtually, because there's only really so much you can do over Zoom, and I get the sense that people are pretty fatigued about that. It's been a good experience. I will be leaving in June to start my clerkship, so that'll be exciting. And yeah, that's my very quick overview of what life has been like after law school. The pandemic is weird. I really feel for you all who are doing school online, going to virtual class. It's really hard to stay focused, and it's a lonely and difficult time. So hang in there. And I've been trying to, do some creative things in the meantime to balance out the work side of my brain. So I've been painting a little bit and, doing some dance classes virtually or outdoors where possible, and playing a lot of Beat Saber, which is not creative, but, it's fun. Okay, well, that's me. Hope you guys are doing okay. Take care. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.